are live in the Bearded Butchers podcast studio. It's Friday afternoon. How's everybody doing? How are you doing? I almost had to call you. Scott was running around signing papers, and I had my phone ready because we were going to go live, and if he wasn't in here, I was going to have to call him.
Yeah, I was in the other room, and I had to jump out and sign some papers, but we got it done.
Yep.
So today we're going to be talking about some recent media trouble that we've found ourselves in. You want to elaborate a little bit more on that? So.
Sure. Spencer and I had a discussion this morning about whether we wanted to do this video live or not, and we decided that we wanted to go live because we wanted to interact with you, the audience, and we wanted to ask you. So I'm keeping an eye on comments. Scott's keeping an eye on comments. We will try to answer them as we go. But we wanted to ask you, the audience, if you've been noticing our content getting suppressed. So whether it's on YouTube, you know, are our videos showing up in your suggested videos anymore? You know, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, are you getting served our content? Because we believe that from the comments that we've seen, that our content is getting shadow banned. So, and then to back that up, so just go back here to last Saturday. I messaged Scott Saturday morning about 6:15 a.m. and because I went to sign into or click on my Facebook app on my phone, and it said, "You've been logged out." Then I went to Bearded Butcher's Instagram, and it said the same thing. So I'm the admin on the pages. So I believe what happened was, since it suspended my account, it suspended the other accounts attached to mine. I started freaking out. I started messaging Scott. He was like, "Look, you know, don't stress out about it. We'll get it figured out. You know, everybody is okay. There's no issues, you know, no bodily harm, anything like that. It's not the end of the world." I understand all that. I got extremely frustrated fast because of the amount of time and years that we've spent building these social media pages. So, and I've kind of spent more time building these pages, and Scott spent more time on some of the, you know, the other sides of the business. So it's kind of been my baby for like 8 to 10 years. So I started to get frustrated real fast when I couldn't sign into these accounts. So what they did was they gave me an option to appeal their decision. And Spencer, I believe he has some of these screenshots of the messages that I received from Facebook. And they basically just said that your account's been suspended. And the reason was, they don't tell you like exactly what content that you posted that caused it, but they said that we were being, help me out here, Spencer, deceitful. Fraud and deception is what they basically accused us of. So I appealed it. And then from there, it was pretty much just a waiting game. I did reach out to some friends that have had similar things happen to them, that they know some people that know some people. And, you know, maybe that had something to do with our accounts being restored. But then I guess it was, probably 24 hours later that we started to see things come back. And then, but things haven't been really right since then. And this was a week ago. My personal Instagram got the verification check stripped from it. No telling whether that'll come back or not. So my account was verified for over a year, and then that's gone. But what's really interesting is the Bearded Butcher accounts, how slow they grow compared to my personal accounts. So my personal Facebook page has over 720,000 followers. Instagram has almost 900,000 followers. And so something's happening with Meta when you take a personal account versus our business account. So I'm just curious, some gurus, some people out there that know a lot more about us with this type of thing. Maybe you could throw in a comment. Our audience, we'd like to know what you've experienced and what you've seen from us or haven't seen from us. But yeah, it's been kind of frustrating. We rely a lot on social media for the delivery of our products that we sell on our e-com site. Obviously, we're here to teach people about the trade and just keep meat alive in America. So what are your thoughts, Scott?
Well, I think what's frustrating is the fact that we have what I would consider a profession that is as noble as any profession should or could be. Now, I'll use an example. Deadliest Catch, a long-running show on television. It's been on television for, I don't know, I'm going to guess here like a dozen seasons or more. It's on the Discovery Channel, mainstream media. That show is dealing with fishing. They've crabs, of course, things like that. I liken our business to something similar to that. We're in the business of taking livestock and converting it to protein. Protein being as far as I am concerned, the champion of all foods is an animal protein. Every cell in your body can use it. You have many, many stories of people that have reversed degenerative diseases with, carnivore diet. I understand that's an elimination diet, so you're eliminating a lot of stuff that could be causing problems. Point being, it's a very noble profession. We do it ethically. We do it humanely. We've tried to shine a lot of light on the side of the profession that breaks the stigmas of what it's like to be a butcher, that we can do this in such a way that is ethical, it's environmentally sustainable, it supports family farms that have, for the lack of a better way of putting it, second, third, fourth, fifth generation comes along, they don't want to work on the farm anymore, there's no money in it, it's too hard, that sort of thing. So by taking food dollars, putting them back into these farm systems, so that way, you're going to stay on the farm, you're going to raise the cattle, going to milk the cows, that sort of thing. So that's what bothers me the most, is the fact that I feel involved in a noble profession. And okay, so we use knives. That's our tool of the trade. That's no different than a kitchen knife, okay? Sitting on your counter across America. So that's where I really start to feel like that we're at a disadvantage, so to speak. And so that's where I'm at on it. It's something that is as necessary as a lot of other professions that exist.
Two comments here caught my attention. The one said that they had to subscribe to our YouTube channel a second time just to get notifications. The other one says that YouTube blocked me when I shared your videos. I love your videos and I learn a lot. Greeting from Germany, don't let Facebook win. So isn't that interesting that they shared our video on YouTube and YouTube blocked them? So you talk about knives. We have a lot of friends, obviously, around the country, social media, influencers, different trades, etc. One of those being Montana Knife Company, and Josh and Brandon and the crew out there, and they've struggled a lot with social media and suppressing their content. And I know that they've posted multiple times that their channel will no longer be shown to people that aren't following their page, and the cover photos get blurred out and things like that. So we're not the only ones that are sort of fighting whatever's happening, this shadow ban. But keep the comments rolling in. We're going to touch on some of these as we see them. But yeah, it definitely. It's frustrating when so Scott and I had a discussion this morning because we hit over 3 million subscribers right here on YouTube, and anybody else with 3 million subscribers on YouTube, when they post a video within 2 to 3 days has 1 million or more views. When we post a video, we're lucky to get 50,000 views in several days, and it never used to be that way. So a couple years ago, we would upload a YouTube video in within what, Scott, probably 2 to 3 days. I would screenshot it and send it to you and say, look, this video just hit 1 million views already. Our most viewed videos is over 14 million views. And I know you can do a lot with thumbnails, and you can do a lot of search engine keywords and optimization and a lot of click. We don't really get into the clickbaity stuff because we wanted to remain authentic. But it's frustrating on our end when we're trying to deliver this content to you, the viewer, and it's not getting seen. It's not getting shown.
I agree, and just to break it out and look at it from a broad 20,000-foot view, we don't necessarily do this for the content. And while there may be some, and I think you mentioned last week in our 2 weeks ago in our podcast, that we're probably at a point just with the size of the channels that we could focus exclusively on media and probably get better at it.
Sure.
It just quite frankly, and we have improved, but we spend just a small amount of our time actually working on production, if you want to call it that. So we don't have production in the sense where we're planning for production. We don't have a shot list, scripting, of course, any of that stuff. We're just butchers that are doing our job and documenting our daily lives, so to speak. The point being is that's plan A, and that's what we stick with. There is no plan B. We leverage the media stuff to drive business to our retail shop and to our website. As
it's our sales funnel.
As any good business person would, they would recognize that it's a form of advertisement, something that you can look at any company throughout history, and they're gonna, I'll take Nabisco crackers, for example. It probably started with print ads and then radio ads. And this is just the medium of the day, which is delivery through social platforms. And when we're at what we think, or we're trying to learn, find out if it's at a disadvantage, that's what is it? Is it big tech? Is it, they don't want us eating meat? Is it because you do so fantastically well when you eat meat? Is it the hunting? Is it the knives? There's a lot of questions to ask, and we kind of wanted to turn to our audience and ask them, what are they seeing?
Well,
are they, because you forget. This is what happens. And again, we'll just kind of get into this a little bit deeper, but social media is kind of a black box, if you will. And those algorithms build your world for you. And whether you're conscious or subconscious, it's happened subconsciously, your little world gets built for you by the algorithm, and then you're served what you want to see. Well, you can forget quickly what you actually want to see.
It'll remind you.
What's that?
It'll remind you pretty
quick.
Well,
my point being is like if we just basically get lost somewhere and you're not being served in, let's just take your news, your
you'll get forgotten.
News, right. That's my
you'll
point.
Get forgotten
very
quick. It's like listening to a favorite song.
Yeah.
And you hear it over and over, but once they stop playing it, you'll forget about it. Sorry, I didn't mean to
No, you're fine. I'll just get off on a rant. But the point, and then the other question to ask is, okay, let's take Zuckerberg, for example. He's got a farm in Hawaii.
Yeah, he smokes meat and grills and everything.
Well, he likes to hunt too. But my question is why the sustainability? Why the effort to have
there's a reason they're doing
source for where your food supply comes from? And just how long will it be before the government puts so many constraints on where your meat supply comes from that you can no longer source and eat meat? Now, just imagine a world where you are not permitted to butcher you're not permitted to hunt.
It's not a
You're
world I
going
want to live
to
in.
be, your weapons are going to be in the sense of a way to harvest an animal. We call it harvesting. Be frank about it. You're going to kill an animal and you're going to consume its flesh. You're going to do that, we do it ethically. We assume, in the hunting community, everything we've seen, whether it's bow and arrow, but depending on how far back you want to slide the scale into what was our, primitive past. I mean, if you lived before 1895, life was pretty rough. I mean, like you go back, you had a 50-50 mortality rate. You lived a miserable existence in the sense that, until the Industrial Revolution, and then you had what your food sources were. So, if you were going to hunt, you had to have a bow and arrow. You had to have, black powder came along. You had a rifle. So you look at the way you can kill an animal, way you can preserve an animal. I mean, we have systems in place now that just make it absolutely amazing. Our store, White Feather Meats, we deliver about 200,000 pounds of meat. And by deliver, I mean it goes into the hands of the local population,
into the consumer,
or the regional population. So that's where I'm at with it. What happens when you're not able to consume meat?
If you see me looking down here at my computer, I'm reading comments. So keep them coming in. I have one I want to touch on right here. This person says that let me get it here. If I can even, why is it? Anyways, it said it's partly, there's a window over and I can't see it. I can't figure out how to click out of it. I'm a butcher. I'm a butcher, not a computer savvy dude. But anyways, it says it happened to me when I uploaded the video of the whole cow cook. It says their account was flagged. So I wish I could read the whole thing. Anyways, yeah, I just keep seeing. Hold on, I'll get it. Yeah, I lost it now. Anyways, I'll just keep reading these. But keep them coming. We want to know how long has it been since you've seen how long has it been since you've gotten a notification that we uploaded a video if you're subscribed to our YouTube channel? That's what I want to know.
And they specifically have the bell turned on.
And you specifically have the bell turned on.
Yeah, and as far as the content goes, we can only cut the same thing. And there's another part of social media too, is you typically don't go back into pages too deep and find out what they were doing a year ago, 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. But since we launched the channel and since we've been doing, and like I said, we don't create or fabricate our content. It's just documenting our content. So we have content from a couple years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago, since the channel actually started in 2016, we really didn't start putting a lot on until 2018. Things we've already done. Now, the question is do we reshoot them to bring them back to light? Maybe some stuff changed, but you can only cut a cow so many times, so many different ways.
Here's the thing, too. If you spend all the time and effort into reshooting the video that doesn't get shown, then what's the point?
Well, let's break that down a little bit. So time, time
I'd rather
is money.
spend the
Everybody
time.
says,
I'd rather spend that time at our cabin in the middle of the woods, off grid, not worrying about a darn thing.
Absolutely.
Just so you know where I stand on it.
So we talk about not creating content, or other words, we're not sitting here going, let's do something. Now, granted, at times we're going to do something like make a product, specifically a how-to. The production, and I mentioned the lack of production, whatever, has gotten much more involved in the sense where, we have Spencer doing his thing. We've got a few $1,000s worth of camera equipment. We're part of our headquarters building, which of course was not built specifically for this purpose, but we put in an area for this purpose. So yes, there is a concerted effort to, I guess, bring up the means of delivery. So along with that, like you mentioned, it does take the wind out of your sails when you film something, you feel good about it, and it hits the airwaves and
Just flops.
it bombs.
Yep.
So that's when we're like, what happened? Why would a video from 2-3 years ago with a quarter of the base do worse than a video now with 4 times more, 5 times more base? That's the baffling part of it.
So I want to just point this out. Our fan base is phenomenal. Like I appreciate that a ton, because the messages that we've received, that I've personally received on my social media, and the ones that I'm seeing right here in the comments, you guys are fantastic because you support the heck out of us, and that we're extremely grateful for. And I can tell you the one way that you can sort of kind of trick the algorithm is if you guys comment on our videos, you tag your friends in the videos, and you share them. I do apologize if you share a video of ours on YouTube and you get flagged for it. That's something, obviously we'd feel bad about. And here again, I don't know why that's happening, but I can tell you that on Instagram and Facebook, if you comment and share and tag people in the videos, then you can sort of trick the algorithm and it won't slow down. So that's how it gets seen to people. Just to touch on that a little bit. So, and I don't know if this had something to do with why Meta shut down our accounts, but about 2 weeks ago, I told Scott and a couple of our team members that I was getting comments on my personal social media from another country. And these people, what they were doing was they were commenting on 2 particular reels on Instagram. And what that will do is it will drive traffic in that particular area, if I understand it correctly. So then a bunch of people from this certain country all started commenting on these 2 particular reels, and they were commenting to report my account. And because in the name of whoever their god was, we were slaughtering their mother cow. And that happened. I bet you I blocked 2,000 people over about a week period. So that doesn't help us out at all. Once a group of people like that, they come against you and start reporting your account over and over and over and over again, bad things are going to happen. So yeah, very frustrating.
They were probably foreign.
Yeah.
Source.
Yep.
Hindus,
Foreign
probably
country.
Hindus. There's a few different religions that don't eat cow, but okay. So, and the other thing about that is could be competitors.
Could be.
So sometimes a couple other things happen as people steal our videos, set up an offshore.
Oh, that happens all the
bundle
time.
box, get 10 steaks for $49.95. It probably stays up for a few hours. They put our video over top of it, probably get a number of people to pay them, and then they don't ship them anything.
The one they had done like 60 grand in sales on their meat boxes, and they were using our video to promote it.
And we can't, obviously we have legal, and we get a hold of them, and they're like, I mean, look at the car dealership thing right now with regard to did you know about that?
What is it?
It's a $300 million ransom, basically software that a lot of it has to do with car dealerships. That also, I think it touches like hospitals and some other stuff too, but they are holding their, basically they hacked their system, are holding it ransom. They want $300 million.
Wow.
And it's it's out of the country. It's like, what do you do? So a similar thing with our channel when somebody screen records a video or whatever, and they set up, a website, start taking people's money.
Yeah,
it's not really much we can do about it.
We can message them and say, hey, knock it off, but that only goes so far.
I guess that's one thing about putting all your stuff out there on the internet. All your competitors have a chance to, whether it's our local reviews, you can create a few accounts, leave some bad reviews, just seed that doubt with people, whether it's people from, a different religion that can start flagging your videos. But again, it just kind of circles us back to the thing about like, we want to make sure that we remind people that it's socially acceptable for the profession that we're in. And then you could probably start pulling together some professions that are not socially acceptable.
Well,
that have
speaking of,
tons of fans.
I want to know why, if you get spam for some explicit material on social media and you report it, why does it come back and say that it didn't go against their guidelines? But yet
Good
ours
question.
do. I don't want my kids seeing that. I'd rather see my kids watching two bearded dudes cut up a beef than some explicit material that they shouldn't be seeing. But that's the world we live in, I guess. Hey, let's hit some of these comments. I've been trying to read them.
I'll just give a quick shout out to Ethan here. Keeps commenting. Yes, we do remember when you visited us. I think it was his birthday.
Yep. What's up, Ethan?
It's a quick shout out
We
there
see
for
you
you.
on here.
Yeah, the software there. Thanks, CKZ software for dealership.
No, I see him. Yeah.
Victim of ransomware. So then, and again, just we're in a climate, obviously, with it's an election year, the administrative stuff, whatever administration that you're dealing with inside your butcher shop, it could be at the high level, it's going to be USDA, federal inspection, and then you get into your state inspections, and of course your local inspections. Or in some case, you have like really no inspection. It's called not for sale. There's also something called the Prime Act, which I think was either before Congress or never made it that far. There's the concern that through climate, through the climate, I guess, speech, the climate drive, that cows are going to be, and they are already on the bubble for causing too much CO2. There's methane. There's a bunch of research out there that says that that's not true. If you think about the millions and millions of bison that once roamed, that was long before we were worried about climate change and things like that. So the concern then is, okay, so if tech is going to start their suppression, trying to get us away from eating meat, what happens when it comes from an administrative body where it just makes it too difficult to operate? So you come, put regulations, restrictions. Of course, we've had a number of bird flus, and now I just got a notice the other day about because of the flu that is crossing over to dairy right now. I got an email, I forget what government agency, saying that you have to, and I kind of joked about it, said we went from show me your papers to show me your cow's papers, because it was about interstate transfer.
Don't you remember we sent you that video? That guy got pulled over, and they asked to see his papers, and he was transporting his animals, his kids' 4-H animals, across state lines. Remember that?
I do remember that. I don't remember
That's exactly what you're referring to.
So there's the concern that it's just going to be, that if the walls cave in, then we'll just be in the spice business and not the meat and spice business. So that's what that's the pushback. If we're getting pushed in one direction, we want to create some resistance and push back in the other direction. And I think through engagement, through awareness, those are all the things that you hear on the other side when they're wanting to talk about their side of things. We want to talk about that on our side. We want to get just as much face time through our channels that we've worked hard to grow.
Spent a long time building.
That way, we don't do this all for naught and find out that, again, that incredible resource that we're advocates of, which is meat, we want it to be plentiful. We've done a lot of great things in the past just as a society to get where we're at for production, for the people that are involved in our industry. It's not a very safe industry. It's not a very enjoyable industry, but it gives a great product. Here we are looking at July 4th weekend, celebrating the independence of America.
Hey.
We've got an opportunity to be out, over your grill.
Speaking of which,
all that stuff goes away if you don't have meat involved.
people have been asking for us to ship meat. We do have some brats available on our website. Just going to throw a little sales pitch in there. In the U.S., We have some brats available. Go to beardbutchers.com. We'll ship them right to your door. No guaranteed they'll be there before the 4th at this point, but we do have some of those available. Yeah, all good points. You mentioned, building these platforms. I think we're over 7 million followers now across our social media. And if those all went away tomorrow, are we going to survive? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It would actually be more peaceful. It's some days.
Oh, yeah.
Because then you wouldn't be stressed out about creating content.
Yeah,
However,
you wouldn't be thinking about it.
Right. However, it's been such a huge, building a foundation for us to grow our business that we would be extremely disappointed. Plus, we wouldn't be able to get to interact with all you guys. I mean, we don't always respond to comments, but I can guarantee you that we see a lot of them. We have a couple gals in-house that handle a lot of our comments for us. They bring us the stuff that, maybe the high-level stuff that maybe we should see, or a question that they can't answer. But we're on social media. We're on social media personally, so we see a lot of what you guys are saying, and we appreciate all of you guys.
Right. Right on. And for the joy of it all, being that we're going to wake up, we're going to lace our boots up, we're going to go to work in the morning, and we're going to put meat in front of our customer. We like to put content in front of people that don't, actually live in our area. Again, to bring awareness to the trade.
Well, here's the other thing. We're teaching people how to do it themselves at home. So many of these comments that I'm reading right here have said, thank you guys. I've been able to get better at, butchering it at home and feeding my family.
And we love that. We love we
love
even
those.
like the fact that we know we've seeded other operations that you may actually be competitors in a sense. Certainly because of the transparency of our content. So, but we know that that's going to bring more legs to the stool, right? So, more small independent or butcher shops like us can spring up, and we'd like them to be able to use the same platforms to promote their line of work. So, for the joy of doing this, for the the family that's involved, the growth that is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to grow. It's a lot more fun to grow than to the invert of that, which would be shrink.
Yeah,
so
we
like
don't
when
wanna
we
do
talk
that.
about our channels, not that we're losing subscribers, other than the fact that when you actually have your deplatformed, then all gone, one fell swoop. But the point being is that we want the views to grow and all that. We want to reach more. We want to reach more people with our message.
Somebody, Danny, thanks for being a customer, Danny. He says, I want to thank you. I've been using all your DIY kits for all the wild hogs I've harvested in Florida. I give most of the sausage away, and nobody can tell it's wild hog until I tell them.
I like that.
That's the stuff we love.
Well, and the
Somebody else
thing there-
says, real quick, where did it go? Somebody else says, just had some bacon burgers. Must have been the ones we sold on the website in the box. You guys are awesome. So the support we get is phenomenal. Like, it is great.
And just on the wild hog comment, I mean,
That's something
depending
we need
on
to
what
do.
part of the country you're in, invasive species, right? Very prolific. You get them out there, they can damage ag pretty heavily. But here's that was Danny, has the opportunity to shoot a wild hog, turn it into
He's giving it all away.
great protein, give it away. I'm glad we got to be part of it.
Absolutely. Somebody says, I don't understand. I just went and viewed your Facebook page. Are you just not able to post content? So we're back. So like I mentioned earlier in the video, we appealed it and we're able to access those pages again. So we are able to post. However, last Saturday, they were gone. I mean, they did not exist. You signed on the app and it said your page has been suspended. Gone. So Spencer, can you pull up some of those media channels that we're talking about?
I'm gonna try. I tried to bring it up earlier and my desktop capture wasn't working. But
It's no.
What about
no
mine?
biggie.
What do you want to see, Seth?
Just go to my personal Facebook page once, and then go to Instagram.
yeah, mine isn't working for some reason.
So that way we can kind of explain to people what pages we're talking about.
I don't think I'm going to be signing in here anytime soon. So
It's okay. I'm just going to read some more comments.
Do you have to sign
You know how this stuff goes, Spencer. As soon as I go to view Facebook, it wants me to sign into Facebook. But let me just see what happens when I do a little Google of Seth Perkins' Facebook.
Ron Wilson, please continue as you are. We enjoy your content, and it helps us know what we want when we go to a butcher. The more knowledge we have, the better product we can get. Thanks, Ron. Yeah, most people are just saying, love the informative videos, love the channel, keep them coming.
I mean, making butchering better, that's essentially what we're about. Somebody made a comment earlier about how we showed them what great value chuck steaks are. Those are amazing in my opinion, but making butchering better.
Hey, Charles says, how much I wish I could support you guys, but I got a cousin. He owns a beef farm, and he's cooking this weekend for Canada in my case. Hey, if you got a cousin that owns a beef farm, head on over, grab yourself a steak. We got nothing against that. That's fantastic.
Just grab the spices from us.
Yeah. Get the spices to go on the steak.
All right. Your page is up here, Spence. If you can cut to my screen.
Yeah.
What do you want to see here, Seth?
So I was just going to show people. This is my personal page that I was talking about. So Saturday when I logged on, gone. Couldn't access it.
721,000 followers. You only follow 46 lucky people.
I need to follow some more. I'm not very good at following back. Go over to the drop down on more and hit the reels. Like, so you'll, not the groups, the reels.
Right there by
Yeah. And then just go down.
Reels is by
Oh,
about.
sorry. It's over by about. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so there you'll see all of the videos that I upload personally. And usually what happens is I start my morning before my run. I upload content sometimes through the day, laying in bed at night. That's why I upload all times of the day, because I'm always trying to think up new videos and take ones that maybe Grace, our media gal, has made, or Spencer has made, and I use them on my personal channel. But it was so interesting because building out personal social media channels, how much quicker those grew versus the business page. That's why I know that there's some sort of shadow ban going on with our Bearded Butcher pages. It has to be, just because then you take these exact same videos and you post them over on Bearded Butcher's pages, and they fall flat.
Kind of makes you say, huh.
Yeah, huh. So if you go over to Instagram, I'll show you what pages we're talking about over there.
Okay, probably got to cut away from me, Spencer.
Already done.
Okay, because I don't know how long this will take me, but I'll try.
Hey, just so you guys know, Linda, appreciate it. You're tagging the Bearded Butchers in your comments. She says, hit that thumbs up. Hard for them. Ring their bell. Ring, ring, ring. So that's how we can see you're commenting if you hit at the Bearded Butchers, and then we can see it because it comes up in orange. How much domestic fat do you add to your ground Veni burger? Veni burger? I assume that's venison burger. Typically, we say 10% pork fat, 20% fatty pork trim. Beef, maybe 5% beef fat. That's kind of the ratio we go with, or 5% bison fat.
But where can they buy that fat?
Oh, beardedbutchers.com.
Okay, so you want to see
Oh, yeah,
Instagram? I mean,
there's
this is going to
the-
be on a desktop platform, so it might be a little bit.
Yeah. There's the Instagram. And that's where
97K.
that's where the verification got stripped away. Gandhi.
So let's just look over here. If we look at similar content on, are the reels under here? Where do we find?
Right by more.
Okay. If you look at what are probably similar or identical reels to what's posted on your personal page, they are, I mean, I think I've only seen 2 that are over 1 million. Significantly fewer views. Same content. I would assume the same for Instagram.
Yep. they got a hold of us.
Like I said, makes you say, huh.
Huh.
And again, just thinking about other professions where perhaps, you get promoted. That's the other thing is, why is our profession not only demoted and okay, so you have a job, right? You go in, you go to work. Would you want to be treated, say you strive in your job and your boss likes somebody better than you do, and they don't do nearly as good a job, or they do something that's, against company policy. That can kind of be how we feel, where it's like, we should have an opportunity to reach as many people as are interested in seeing our content. Like I said, what are you going to do? We're probably just going to sit here and flail the air unless somebody,
just say this is going to come across as, oh, you guys are a bunch of whiners, but we're just frustrated.
Well, we're trying to understand it, and we're also trying to perhaps leverage the algorithm by interaction,
kind of beating it back.
Yeah,
in a
letting
way.
you know what we're dealing with. And again,
telling you.
shine light, bring awareness, get it back out there, push back type scenario.
Telling you, the best thing that our audience can do is comment, share, and tag friends. That's the best thing you can do across all of our social media platforms. And give us a follow, because that's gonna trick the algorithm.
Sharing our content, when you actually hit the share and you send it to somebody, that's gonna promote it.
1 second, Spencer. Florida girl at the Bearded Butchers. Do you ship to Florida the meat? Yes, we do. So our brat boxes, we do ship those to Florida. They go in dry ice, and we'll get them to you. So just wanted to answer that real quick. What's up, Spence?
I think talking about this is kind of reassurance for other people that have gone through this too. Maybe people in the industry that also post butchering on social media and have come across issues, but they don't have the following that people actually get upset, and they're just like, oh, what happened to that person?
Right. Yeah, there's a big difference if you have, several hundred followers or, 6 or 7 million. But yeah, if you're in the process of building a page, I would if you're in the process of building a page and you get this type of suppression, there's a good chance your page is never going to grow. That's the frustrating part. Something that I would like to do, I would like to have a podcast sometime with maybe like Josh and Brandon from Montana Knife, and discuss like the struggles they've had with social media in their business.
Well, we've talked a little bit with them, just
I'd like to do it
off air,
on a
but
podcast.
yeah, you have, and I guess before anybody's like, well, why bother? Why with the platforms, well, and then the alternative platforms, the smaller ones like, say Rumble or something like that, for example. I mean, because of their prevalence in society, I think they're very relevant, and it can be the same too with like emails, for example. Like pretty much everybody has an email. I know everybody doesn't have an email, but if you do online shopping, things like that. So like it's important for us to build our email list, because if there's something similar to this, perhaps we can reach you still via email.
Well, if our media gets shut down, email is the only way we're going to be able to reach our
And if that doesn't
consumer.
work, what are we going to do?
Yeah, we might have to go back to mailers and billboards and
Direct mailers.
If you see a
We're going
direct
to be
mailer
going right
show
back.
up, if you see a direct mailer show up in your mailbox, you know why. I was going to say something, but I forget what it was. Let's hit some of these comments again.
Yep, and we'll probably wrap up here pretty soon, but we're, I guess, just kind of venting and thinking about the recent development of actually getting deplatformed.
It's kind of like when your significant other says, we need to talk.
Yeah.
That's social media. We need to talk because this is what's been happening.
So just some points to make. The interaction that you give us on our channels, re-clicking the bell, the subscription, of course, if you feel like if you are not a customer of ours, you go to beardedbutcher.com. If we get your email, we don't share that information. We don't sell it. It's just something that we can use internally when we have specials or new products or something like that. Those are good ways to kind of bolster our confidence.
I knew what I was going to say. So I saw a lot of comments over the last week where people said we should move to X, which was previously Twitter. But I will say we are on X, not near the size of Page there. However, I would say that 90% of our content on X gets hit with violating community guidelines. So it's happening there too. TikTok, it was happening there. Our TikTok, Bearded Butcher TikTok page is like 1.7 million. So we have to constantly send appeal videos there that get taken down. So you want to know what we do in our spare time. It's appeal. It's appeal content. Try to get it back.
Right. So we want to encourage you this July 4th weekends. We're calling it weekends because we feel like this weekend, which is going to be like 6/29, 6/30, and then the following weekend, which is going to be like 7/7, 7/8 or whatever. Because the holiday falls in the middle of the week, we want to encourage you to enjoy both sides of the holiday and do that by going somewhere, purchasing a whole bunch of meat.
Yep.
Because the best way to encourage this behavior is to eat more meat. You'll feel better.
Yeah.
The industry will appreciate it. And the powers that be that are trying to push this down won't be able to do anything about it, at least not yet. So go out there, fire up a grill, meat over a fire. We love it if that's a wood fire. We always talk about that. Of course, our spices are blended specifically with using them on meat as the intention because we made them out of our shop years and years ago specifically to use on meat, so they pair very well. You get some of the Bearded Butcher blend spices, you shake it on there, and you have a really good, fantastic freedom time.
Absolutely.
That's what we want to encourage.
Something, I'm just going to hit this real quick before we sign off. You want to know the most bizarre thing out of this whole thing with Meta is the fact that my profile was no longer they would no longer recommend it to other people that weren't following me because I made a post about my wife and I's 17th wedding anniversary. That's the post that triggered it, that my profile was no longer going to be recommended to the audience.
Well, that's a whole nother day and a whole nother podcast.
That's another topic for another
the attack
day.
on the nuclear family. But I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised at all.
So we're going to keep doing the things that we know and love. And we want to try to keep getting them out there in front of all of the world, basically.
We're going to roll into our weekend. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be able to go back through and read your comments. It's kind of hard for us to stay in the loop. Like I said, if you hit at the Bearded Butchers and asked us a question, we could see them a little bit better because they popped up in orange. If you commented, thank you. Appreciate the support. You guys are fantastic. If there's one thing for sure, Scott, it's one thing we don't have any problems with is our audience because you guys are phenomenal. Except for the ones that report our page for killing mother cow. But other than that, you guys are great. And we're going to keep up with the podcast. We're going to get a guest on here. Throw a comment in on who you'd like to see join us on our podcast. And yeah, we're going to roll into the weekend and enjoy it with family and friends. And until next time, you know what we say.
More meat.
Eat more meat. See ya.